Peter Jackson, Jack Johnson, Stanley Ketchel.
Few fighters in boxing history cast a shadow as large as Jack Dempsey. Known as the Manasseh Mauler, Dempsey became one of the most dominant heavyweight champions of the early 20th century. His aggressive style, knockout power, and relentless pressure turned him into a global superstar during boxing's golden age. But greatness in boxing rarely comes without controversy. During Dempsey's reign and even years afterward, several fighters openly criticized him, questioned his opponents, or carried intense rivalries tied to his legacy. Some believed they deserved a shot at the title. Others felt the championship scene during his era was carefully managed by promoters, and some simply wanted to prove they were better than the most famous champion of the time. Many of these tensions were fueled by boxing politics, matchmaking disputes, and the intense competition surrounding the heavyweight division. According to documented interviews, historical reports, and boxing historians,
Isn't done, I'm afraid boxing will really pass out of the picture.
several fighters developed strong rivalries or public criticism connected to Dempsey's career. In this video, we're taking a closer look at 10 boxers who had some of the strongest tensions, rivalries, or critical views connected to Jack Dempsey's career and legacy. 10. Jess Willard. Before Jack Dempsey became the most feared man in boxing, the heavyweight champion was Jess Willard, a towering fighter known as the Potawatomi Giant. Their 1919 championship bout in Toledo, Ohio, became one of the most dramatic turning points in boxing history.
This is the first time film was taken from first row ringside. You can see a corner water.
Dempsey entered the fight as a dangerous challenger, but few expected the level of dominance he would show that day. From the opening bell, Dempsey attacked relentlessly, knocking Willard down repeatedly in the first round and leaving the champion badly battered. The brutal nature of the fight shocked spectators and quickly created controversy that would follow both men for years. Though Willard later spoke about the intensity of the punishment he endured and the difficulty of recovering from such a devastating defeat. Some fans and writers debated whether the gloves used that day were harder than usual, though historians have never found solid evidence to support those claims. What remains clear is that the fight dramatically altered both fighters' legacies. 9. Gan Tunny few rivalries in boxing history are remembered as vividly as the battles between Jack Dempsey and Gan Tunny. Tunny represented a completely different style from the aggressive champion. While Dempsey relied on explosive power and relentless pressure, Tunny was known for his intelligence, footwork, and disciplined strategy inside the ring. When the two met in 1926 for the heavyweight championship, Tunny shocked the boxing world by outboxing Dempsey and winning the title by decision. 8. Harry Wills. During the 1920s, one of the most talked about potential challengers for Jack Dempsey was the powerful heavyweight contender Harry Wills. Wills was widely respected as one of the toughest fighters of his generation. With his size, strength, and punching ability, many boxing observers believed he could pose a serious challenge to the reigning champion. Yet despite years of discussion and public demand, a championship fight between Wills and Dempsey never took place. At the time, the absence of that matchup sparked intense debate across the boxing world. Promoters, journalists, and fans frequently discussed the possibility of the fight. But negotiations repeatedly collapsed for various reasons. Some historians point to promotional disagreements, financial complications, and the complicated racial climate of the era as major factors that prevented the fight from happening. Because of these circumstances, Wills's supporters often argued that he deserved a shot at the title and that his opportunity never came. 7. Luis Angel Firpo. One of the most chaotic title fights of the 1920s occurred when Jack Dempsey defended his championship against the Argentine powerhouse Luis Angel Firpo in 1923. Known as the Wild Bull of the Pampas, Firpo was a powerful puncher who had built a reputation for knocking opponents out with explosive force. When he finally stepped into the ring with Dempsey, the fight instantly turned into a dramatic spectacle. The opening round alone became legendary. Dempsey knocked Firpo down multiple times, seemingly on the verge of ending the fight quickly. but Furo suddenly fired back with a massive right hand that sent Dempsey crashing through the ropes and out of the ring. For a moment, it appeared the champion might not make it back in time to continue. With the help of ringside reporters, Dempsey managed to climb back into the ring before the referee's count reached 10. 6. Georges Carpentier. When Jack Dempsey faced Georges Carpentier in 1921, the fight was promoted as one of the biggest sporting events in the world. Carpentier was a European superstar and a war hero from France, admired for his courage and technical skill inside the ring. His popularity made him a perfect opponent for Dempsey, who was already becoming a massive attraction in the United States. The bout drew enormous attention and became one of the first million-dollar gates in boxing history.
A tremendous right by Georges Carpentier.
Fans packed the arena, expecting a thrilling clash between two of the sport's biggest names. Early in the fight, Carpentier managed to land a few sharp punches that briefly excited the crowd. 5. Jack Sharkey. As the 1920s progressed, a new generation of heavyweights began emerging, including the talented Jack Sharkey. Sharkey was known for his toughness and sharp boxing skills, and he quickly developed a reputation as one of the most dangerous contenders in the division. Although he rose to prominence slightly after Jack Dempsey's peak years, he often spoke about the heavyweight landscape that existed during Dempsey's reign. Sharkey believed that many talented fighters of his era deserved opportunities that were difficult to obtain because of the complex promotional politics surrounding championship fights. 4. Tommy Gibbons. The 1923 fight between Tommy Gibbons and Jack Dempsey was unusual compared with many of Dempsey's other championship bouts. Gibbons was a skilled boxer known for his defensive ability and careful strategy. When the two met for the heavyweight title, fans expected a dramatic knockout from the champion, as Dempsey had built his reputation on explosive finishes. Instead, the fight turned into a long and tactical contest. Gibbons focused heavily on defense, moving around the ring and avoiding Dempsey's most dangerous punches. As a result, the bout went the full distance, something that rarely happened with Dempsey during that period. 3. Fred Fulton. Another heavyweight often mentioned in discussions about Jack Dempsey's rise to prominence is Fred Fulton. Before Dempsey captured the heavyweight title, Fulton was considered one of the top contenders in the division. The two fighters met in 1918 in a fight that many believed would determine the next challenger for the championship. Fulton entered the bout with an impressive record and a reputation as a powerful puncher. However, the fight ended quickly when Dempsey knocked Fulton out in the first round. The sudden victory shocked many observers and instantly elevated Dempsey's status in the heavyweight division. It also intensified discussions about whether Fulton had underestimated the aggressive challenger. 2. Billy Misk. The fight between Billy Misk and Jack Dempsey in 1920 carried a tragic undertone that boxing historians still discuss today. Miskey was a respected heavyweight contender known for his toughness and determination inside the ring. By the time he faced Dempsey for the championship, however, he was reportedly battling serious health problems. 1. Harry Greb. Perhaps the most intriguing name connected to Jack Dempsey is Harry Greb, a legendary fighter who never actually faced the heavyweight champion. Greb was known as one of the most relentless and energetic fighters in boxing history. Despite fighting in lighter divisions, he frequently challenged larger opponents and built a reputation for overwhelming them with speed and aggression. Greb's achievements included multiple victories over Gan Tunny, the same fighter who later defeated Dempsey to win the heavyweight championship. Because of those accomplishments, many boxing observers believed Greb might have been capable of giving Dempsey an extremely difficult fight. Yet the two never met in the ring. The legacy of Jack Dempsey remains one of the most fascinating in boxing history. He was a devastating champion who helped transform boxing into a global spectacle. But like many great champions, his career also sparked rivalries, controversies, and unanswered questions. Some fighters felt they deserved a chance to face him. Others challenged the circumstances of his title defenses. And a few simply wanted to prove they could defeat the most feared heavyweight of their time. Whether admired or criticized, one thing is certain. Jack Dempsey's presence shaped an entire generation of fighters, and the debates about his career continue nearly a century later.